I'm Amy Durkin, and I'm head of Lease Advisory and associate at Vickery Holman Property Consultants. I've been at VH for nearly 7 years now, and qualified as a chartered surveyor about 5 years ago. And I've done a bit of everything in the property world: valuation, business rates, even some commercial agency, and then most recently on lease advisory. I initially actually went to do a sports science degree up in Loughborough, which was after doing a lot of sports science at school and A levels. So started doing that, and kind of realised halfway through that probably wasn't for me. So started to look at other options, and I think I went on the ICS website and had a look at all the different surveyors, and I was really surprised by how many different kinds there were and the different routes into it. So did a bit of research there. And then once I finished that degree, I went straight to do another degree, did the real estate masters to then convert to be able to become a graduate so I could start doing my training. I did a lot more lease advisory than anything else in my training because we had a really good team here. I was also one of the only staff members up in Bristol office, which we were opening at the time. So there was a big need for us to grow that area of the business up in that patch. So it kind of naturally fell to something that I could do with my experience. And then we recruited a lot and grew the team both in Bristol and across the whole company. And the other areas filled up, and the lease advisory filled up as well. And we're at the stage where we've got our whole own department, and we all specialise, which is really great progress. We generally negotiate, and we're always looking to agree a deal that's best for the client, whether that be landlord or tenant. And most of the time, that's the best approach, is to try and find some common ground, look at the evidence, and keep the landlord-tenant relationship good. But there are times where we have to move towards third party or dispute resolution. And at that point, I act as the expert witness and produce reports for the third party process. And I can really argue our points strongly, looking at the evidence and making a solid argument for the client to hopefully present that to the independent expert or the arbitrator as the fact that we've got the stronger case. So it's a mixture of negotiating, but also knowing where your opinion lies on the rent and the terms, and making sure you stick to it. We've also got partnership with the solicitor that's usually involved in serving the notices, and we work quite closely with them in terms of deadlines and what they require, written documents or representations. So we work with a number of litigators on that. I've quite recently been involved in doing a market rent valuation on an aircraft hangar up in Wiltshire, which was a brilliant building, World War II building with a single sheet kind of arch roof, which was pretty incredible. 90 meters depth as well, which is testing our distos, which are usually, I think they do 100 meters in one go, but you have to keep the disto quite still whilst it takes a few seconds to bounce back and measure it for you. So that was really interesting. And the best thing about that is the evidence. I was expecting the evidence to be a little bit difficult, but actually Wiltshire has a lot of ex-airfields, so there were actually quite a few other hangars in the area which we were able to have a look at and compare. So actually that was a relatively straightforward job, albeit a very different kind of property. I've also done a very large veterinary hospital recently down in Cornwall, I do a lot of vet work at the moment, but this one was one of the largest, and it had an equine hospital facility with a huge area all padded so that the horse was able to be, put under general anaesthetic and hit the floor and then span upside down and being able to move on all these winches. So that was quite amazing to see the infrastructure in what was basically just a shed. So that was really interesting. And another one, not so much, it's fairly straightforward property, just a storage compound, but the lease was a handwritten lease from 1972, which was lots of pages. I can't remember how many now, but that was quite a difficult thing to read through. But it was really educational to see how the wording of leases is some of it has come on a lot in recent years, and some of it's exactly the same. So that was really interesting too. In my free time, I've got horses, hence why the equine veterinary practice was particularly interesting to me. So I spend my time riding up on the Mendips near Cheddar, where I'm based, and also competing in dressage. I've got a young horse at the moment who I'm training through the levels. So that takes up most of my time. If I have any time left, it's usually spent with family and friends, and also canoeing fairly recently, something I've taken up, and that's really nice at a slower pace along the river to look at all the wildlife. I have quite a few reports to write up. I did an inspection day last week down in Poole and Bournemouth, looking at mainly industrial properties. So the rest of my day involves checking my evidence, reading leases, and writing up my reports for those clients. And I've also got a rent memorandum to send out, which is great because that means that deal has been done. So it's a matter of landlord and tenant signing and dating, and then that's another one done, and hopefully another happy client. Anyone has any rent issues or questions about rent reviews, lease renewals, market rent valuations, anything at all like that, then me and my team would be more than happy to help. You can take a look at our website and look at the lease advisory page, and all our emails and phone numbers are on there, and I look forward to hearing from you.